हेलो एवरीवन, आप हैं रिया के साथ ऑन मना टीवी इंटरनेशनल. You can watch us live worldwide on YUPP network and can subscribe to our Facebook page and YouTube channel as well. Welcome to another episode of Healthy Habits. Physical activity doesn't have to be complicated or done for long periods. Some things as simple as a brisk walk can help you live a healthier life. A study done in the past on a small non-exercising group of people found out that even a low level of exercise, say around 75 minutes a week, improved their fitness levels significantly. So, can we really walk our way to fitness? Let's find out on our today's episode. Healthy habits with walking. हमारे साथ हैं डॉक्टर प्रतिभा फाटके गुप्ता. Welcome back, Pratibha. As always, so nice to have you again.
Thank you, Riya, and welcome to all the audience of Mana TV International. And we are very happy to be connecting with them for their informational purposes. Thank you, Riya, for inviting me over here.
Always welcome, Pratibha. So we all know, a basic knowledge of walking, we all of us have. So, but what are the benefits of walking? Basically, what are the benefits of walking on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And the walking, it's different for everyone. In case, for example, if you are considering walking as a normal routine for your normal health, that is different. And if somebody wants to lose the weight and then they're walking, or somebody who wants to maintain their stress level, depression level. So it basically is very, very different for different people. And I believe that walking is basically should be more like a soothing effort of daily. And as I mentioned, daily habits are the most key factor for anything you do. Walking once a week may not be sufficient, or may not be influential, or maybe not giving a good result that you're expecting. So it is better to have something routine and part of your daily life. And our topic of all those daily habits means that to get any good results and to get many, many benefits out of that, we must understand that it should be a daily habits to do that, and eventually in the conversation I will definitely tell you about what exactly it does to you, to your body, and what is a more benefit in general for the body if we are walking on a regular basis, Ria.
Okay. What's the difference between walking and running? Basically, we know, in running and regular basis also, but when we are taking it as an exercise, what is the difference?
Very good question. As I mentioned that, yeah, the walking and the running, right? So running is more for athletic people. So running is basically if you're running for your marathon race, is totally different. And if you're running for your track, that is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're running for your competition in a sports events, that's totally different. And also running and walking is totally different. See, walking is basically for normal human being, which we have, our daily life schedule. So running and although the brisk walking is basically for people who are really in a different zone of different sports events. And as a matter of fact, for people who are marathon racers, they have to start very small level or maybe slow level so they can compete the race. So marathon race, if people are doing, regular basis, they have to start like maybe 6 to 8 months prior to their, event. Reason why? Because you have to develop the ability to basically relax your muscles to have the endurance, because endurance comes only if you do on a regular days, right? So you cannot be going to the marathon race and then start working on it. So running, as I said, not only it improves, of course, for the ability and endurance and the strength, then also it also improves your discipline, because you have to, and also these events of running or are basically brisk walking or a small level of walking on a regular basis, we can be doing on a random basis, right? Someday you feel like, someday you don't feel like it. So marathon races don't work that way. Especially same thing with your track runners also. The track runners basically have to have special guidelines based on sports, athletic people who can guidelines give it to you, why exactly, what and how they have those specific regulations, there's specific restrictions, and also specific guidelines for that. And also their food habits are different for people who are marathon racers, and marathon racers also have a special, liquid drinks and diets, and they're more like pertaining to their sports events. Now we're talking about today is the running on a daily basis for normal human being like you and I, right? We are not in the sports athletic competitions
Yeah.
and also not into that, but that doesn't mean we cannot run or maybe we cannot, do walking, right? So there's a difference between these two, and because of the fact that we are all running, for what purpose? Okay, and again, we have to be mindful, mindful in the sense, sometimes what happens if you're not very capable of running on a very calculated way, you might fall or you might have some accidents, and there are certain things involved like your shoes and other aspect of it, how there are running shoes, there are walking shoes, there are like track shoes, there are variety of things that you have to really consider the fact, right? So today we will be talking about our normal walking, on a normal basis, because majority of us are not sports athletes, right? So people who are sport athletes, they already have their guidelines already specified.
Right.
For us, for in this show, we will probably go over with certain things like normal things that we can do on a daily basis, Ria.
On the TV. So, as we are talking about guidelines, right? So, obviously, every exercise or every activity has a specific guidelines. So, what do you suggest? What are do's and don'ts of walking, like general brisk exercising walking?
Very good question, Ria. I mean, I myself is guilty of that, or not going to walk on a regular basis. But my lifestyle is already active most of the time because I don't sit too long to my office, and I don't sit too long into my, places where I am, even I am at home. So I consider walking all the time, and I don't sit in any very places too long. So although it is not considered as a walking, but at the same time, my body motion is always good. So so that is why the guidelines based on, there should be some do's and don'ts in the sense that don't be in a rush, for example, coming from work and say, well, I have to go for a walk, right? So that is not a good sense of your well-being, because if you are doing something pertaining to your health, definitely you have to be mindful that I am going to walk for my other benefits. So I prefer, doing or walking in the early morning and before you go to work. That rejuvenates your mental level and also your energy level, because your all the hormones and all other blood circulations could be very well defined when you wake up in the morning, because all night you have been sleeping for 8 to 10 hours, you're not active, right? So next morning when you are doing that what happens, all those, all the circulations in the body is proper. So when you go to work, you are very healthier, happier, and rejuvenated. So you can be more, circulatory system is working. So you have more oxygen level in your brain. And so you're not tired, right? Because majority of the time we say, well, in the morning we don't have time, but we have to make a deliberate effort, Ria, because, if we are considering our health, like, so it could be a little habit. And again, and then don'ts means that not rushing, and also have a proper designed time schedules for, and not, we are not asking for 1 hour, 2 hour a walk, because extensive things may not affect you. Extensive stuff is basically maybe ruin your body basically, but if you do limited daily on a regular basis, may give you impact. Small little daily will be more beneficial than doing extensive on 1 or 2 days in a week, right? So ideally, and also of course, when you're walking, you have to make sure that you're walking on a day when it's not like snowy day, or not like a rainy day. And if you're walking with your dog, I mean, I'm sure majority of people may not agree with me. When we're walking with your dog, so thinking that the dog is walking, you're walking as well, but your mind is consciously paying attention to your dog. Sometimes people go for walking with their little babies in their, strollers and things like that. I know it is a good idea to do that, but at the same time, you're so consciously worrying about your child, right? So
Yeah,
you can do intensely, right? So
that's
at least
true.
you can keep it separately, then make the events more pertaining to your health. And as I said, Ria, we as moms and dads and families and parents, we have to be more healthier to take care of our children as well. So if you're walking, that way, then make sure that you have more secured health than, anybody else. So, and again, you may be risking your children's life as well when you're walking with the, stroller. And I'm sure many people may have done very
Yeah.
diligently and have not with any other consequences. I don't disagree with that. And a lot of people do that anyways. They walk the dog and things like that. But again, if you're thinking about mindfulness, mindfulness means that if you're walking for your not only physical health, for mental health as well. So I would definitely encourage all the audience of Mana TV International is that take a time off from your own time and then go for walk just for you, just for your
Mm-hmm.
health, just for happiness, just for your own thing. And don't may I know many people may also not agree with me. What I'm just going to talk about is that a lot of people go for taking their music with them, and that may help some people, of course. That really does the benefits of that as well. But ideally, if you see that still again consciously listening to the music, and you are basically listening to the music, then paying attention to your exercise, or you're running, or you're walking, what you're doing. So if I were to do that, I would definitely do not take any gadgets with me, such as, of course, for if you're going to walk in your neighborhood, that's perfectly fine. And so there is no need to take a gadgets with you, because it also gives your like a controlling factor. Controlling factor means somebody might call right in the middle, right? Then you may probably
Mm-hmm.
attend the phone calls, right? Or maybe you're having music, and music is like you're engaged in the music, so you are not getting mental peace of walking. So I said completely seclude the walking as just like your good chore, just like you when you're working, right? And when working, then you don't take children there, you don't do any other work while you're working, right? So it's just take the seriousness about this thing, because small little serious efforts can give you good results, and definitely it is a good benefits of that. The other thing also I have is that a lot of people say, well, I am going to be walking because I'm going to take the cell phone because somebody might give me a call.
Mm-hmm.
So just let them know, hey, you know what, I'm going to be walking certain times, and then in case if you have any questions, maybe you can call me at certain times. So that is why ideally if you do early morning, so that nobody is going to be distracted, and you have your own benefits of time, and also there's a clean air in the morning, with no dust, or other environmental factors are not much, right? So at least you have some clean fresh air near to your neighborhood. But I would prefer, if you really are interested in walking, to all the audience of Mana TV International, um, go far away from your home, maybe some little, maybe a few miles, wherever you see there is a park there, or like a wooden or forest area, right, where there is a fresh clean air, which is not in your neighborhood, because in
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood everybody's house is clogged. So even if you walk in the neighborhood, again, you don't have a proper aerations, you're more like a clean air environmentally. So it'll be better if you go and would or walk into the forest
Yeah.
area, where you have more fresh clean air. And believe me not, maybe you can do some little bit rest in case if you want to, like a little yoga or meditation style, something like that. So do the full swing, just the concentration of one thing at a time, not the rushed. I hope I answered these questions to our audience.
Yes, no, definitely. I mean, guidelines and following in a way, in a certain way, will definitely give more benefits than just doing it. So again, we have already talked about the quality of walking, but quantity. So, what do you think, in a general way, a person who is starting to do exercise, or a person who is like avid walker also, how long is a good walk, like on a weekly basis or on a daily basis? How can we quantize that one?
Again, there is no general guidelines for any limited times because of the age
Mm-hmm.
factor as well. So based on your age factors, such as, for example, if you are in health conditions and you still want to walk, so
Mm-hmm.
especially for heart people, who are heart condition people, who have the surgery or who have had a little heart situation, they don't need to run on rush, right? Because you don't want to harm your heart because of the factor of rushing to your heart circulation, because you need to be having more normal, so where
Yeah.
your breathing style is not affected, right? You don't have
Okay.
to pump and pump like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be avoided. So as long as you know what time is suitable for you, you can design. And my always philosophy is that design your lifestyle based on your lifestyle, because
Mm.
there's no generalized rule for anything. We can say 30 minutes walking does this. Well, that is perfectly fine. Research studies have shown that, certain aspect of it. But at the same time, that does not necessarily mean that everybody has to do it. For example, age factor, if you see 18 years to 25 years of age, there's a age factor of the health issue. People who are, right now, currently, Ria, I can tell you that I am sure people may have not realized that. But if you see that in current times, a lot of people who are from 18 to 25 years of age, they also have some heart conditions related to it, right? So you have to basically admit your condition situation, and based on that you adapt your habits. Now also, for example, if somebody who's diabetic, right? So if you're going to walk, on more than 30 minutes, you may get tired, or you may get like more like a dryness of your mouth, or you may feel thirsty, or you may have to go to urination, things like that, right? So don't take any risk of anything like that, so that can harm your body, right? So be mindful, maybe take your experiment a few days, that how many you can count yourself, that this is a time for me, and I'm not being tired at that time. Maybe it's a 15 minutes, maybe it's 18 minutes, maybe it's a 10 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes, or maybe 35 minutes. So based on your lifestyle, you can choose and select. And this may be a little bit odd, what I'm talking about. Reason why? Because sometimes people get very scared about that. If I don't do 30 minutes walking, it's not worth it, right? So people do go for that extremes, right? So choose your lifestyle, because our topic is daily habits, right? Daily habits, slow and slow and slow, will definitely give you good benefits. And again, also, for example, people who are like pregnant women, right? So they don't have to, do extensive, because the doctor may have told them, the walk is good, but you don't have to go out of the blue, like, hey, you know what, because of the, and there's no competition, that you can walk this much. People sometimes compete with each other, who I usually walk certain times. So don't even depend on other people, just depend on your own lifestyle. Now, I've seen a lot of like pregnant women, if they have younger children with them too, they take their children with them, or they are bike riding at the other side, and I know it is a good family event to walk around like that. But again, you're consciously worrying about them as well, right? So my purpose of telling is that be more mindful about what you're doing, so that will benefit you, not in your body circulation, but at the same time, your mindfulness, right? That you're happy about. Because see, again, you're going to be worrying about it. Now I have to go home, and then now I have to feed the children, things like that. So organize your time based on that. And maybe also the good thing, Ria, they can also tell their family members, hey, you know what, I'm going to be working, or maybe I'm going to be, doing little exercise or walking. So can you please just wait until I come back, and we will take care of that. So have your family know about it, okay, this is your schedule, so people can expect that they don't expect something from their side, right? So they can release you, and then you are free of your mind. And being free mind will give you more benefits rather than force. The other example I'm going to give you is that I have some of my colleagues, they will be saying, oh, I'm getting late. I say, well, what happened to you? Oh, no, I have to go to gym because I have to run there, because otherwise, I'll have to go rush to, the place. Then my point is that if you're rushing to those places, that automatically you're stressed, right? So stress does not, and then again, you'll expect I'm running, but I'm not losing weight. So stress and these kind of things don't go together. So make sure be mindful about it, and that's how it is, and a lot of people I've seen that, it's a very interesting, it's a digital age, and everybody has their Apple Watch, and then they work for their steps, how much steps they have done. If you see, Ria, ancient times, we did not have that thing. Our health was very well calculated,
much better than that time,
much better and calculated. So use your technology to your benefits, rather than being more like being the victim of that, because then you can live without it, right? So you don't know exactly how, this is how I do it, and so each step you take, like, like a larger step you take, it's about close to 1 foot, 1 foot, right? So if you take one good steps, like, if your hands are straight and you're walking, so 1 foot, one step you have. So you can count how many steps you took that way. So you can calculate those foot, right? To make sure that how many miles you have calculated. So there's a calculation there as well. So if you are considering that how many miles you have to do, you don't have to be scientifically person that how many miles you have to do. You can just, when you control your walking steps, you know exactly how many miles you have done, right? So that's all I have, for all our audience. Ria, back to you.
So, I mean, obviously, like, we have to incorporate these good habits. And like today, as we are talking about walking, to incorporate it in the way our lifestyle is. But sometimes, like, people have long working hours. They rush in the morning or come late in the evening. So, are there any lifestyle changes that you can suggest to people who have long working hours to incorporate this walking in their lifestyle?
Very, very good question. In fact, Ria, I can tell you that about majority of the people are working from home, right? So don't take it for too granted that, since I'm home, so I'm okay, right?
Yeah.
So still you're sitting on your desk and table, right? So I would encourage you, if you have any options to extend your, laptops to a higher level. So where you're standing, your standing
Mhm.
workstations, you can create your working stations like a standing
Yeah.
creations. And maybe half of the day, you can choose 4 hours a day. You can stand while working, and 4 hours you are, sitting. And also going up and down, if you have stairs up and down, you can go several times of that. And you already know how many steps you have in your house, so you
Mhm.
can do that. And you can check your pulse rate as well, right? So you can do before and after. So you can go for health related, there's a sequence where how many heartbeats and how many pulse rates you have to maintain and manage. And that way, that how much oxygen level you have in your body
Mhm.
as well. So you can choose that, and then you can select that. Okay, select the timings and select all those things, being more mindful about it, and then you go from there. And also, for example, if you're sitting in your couch, for watching television or something like that, I've seen a lot of people watch the movie by sitting in a sofa for 2, 3 hours. They don't realize that they already have worked so many hours in a
Mhm.
day. Now you're relaxing. You are considering
Yeah.
this relaxing. In fact, it's more harming because your body's rejuvenation is not going to be there anyways, right? So you're not relaxing. Actually, you're actually harming your body. So if you're watching television, things like that, maybe you can select something like a high chair or something where you can just be more mindful that you are going to get up, right? So more like a force getting up, right? So, and also maybe stand for some time, or maybe do something that you're not very comfortable laying down, sitting down, things like a posture wise, right? So those things also matters the most, because you just did the working, in a all day, and then you're relaxing. That is going to be harm too. Ideally, Ria, if you're doing like a exercise, fitness, things like that, but if you're watching or sitting in a couch for 2, 3 hours per day, basically you are dissolving everything effort that you have done before. So it has to be more like a active mode. See, body cells do not go for a pause mode, right? You know that, right?
Mhm.
Even though
Yeah.
we are not doing anything, your heart is still functioning, correct? Even though you're not checking your cells in the body, they're still moving. Even though you're not seeing your nerve impulse, it still is there. So they are working on you. They are working all constantly, right? Everything. They don't stop at all. So here's our
Mhm.
body as well. So if you somehow coordinate that very well, like a balance wise, so you definitely will have a good lifestyle, right? Lifestyle in the sense you'll be very happy about it because you did not do
Yeah.
anything extra. Don't be a forced, oh, I did not go to walk today, something happened. Don't feel guilty about it, because that's again, it's not a good thing. One more thing I had to add in here, Ria, such as, for example, if you're very good, you really love to watch television or anything like that, you can have a treadmill in your home too, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a good option. But in last few years, I've seen majority of the people who have their treadmill in their house, and I see and clothes are hanging on that, or towels are hanging on that, and I've not seen being used about that, right? So in that, I can give you very good suggestions for that. For example, if you are not considering that as a very ritual thing, you can play some music, make it play music
Mhm.
in the background of your own choice. It could be any music of your taste or interest, and have some body movement right there with the
Yeah.
steps. And believe me not, you can count your Apple Watch, you will see a lot of steps already been done. And because your body is moving in multiple directions, because you're using as a dance style, definitely your body will be more happier in a sense, because you're doing happy event, correct?
Mhm.
You're not forced event. It's not like you're like somebody is going to be controlling your walking, and that you don't feel guilty about it. And also your blood circulation will be more higher, your brain will have more oxygen, and so you will be thinking all. And now, because it was not a forced exercise for you, while you come back from your dance, then you'll be very happy. I love this dance, I love this song. So
Yeah.
you keep talking about that, and then body automatically gets you more higher energy. by just thinking about it, right? So you just did physical little bit movement, and then also you have a very happy, healthy mood because your song is like that, right? And also one more thing is that, so once you do that, you can feel, and then also you'll be very happy to go next day again. Hey, I'm gonna walk on this song today. I'm gonna dance on this style today. So you will keep on, then will be having more motivation for you rather than a forced chores for you. Oh, today I have to go walk. Oh, today's raining, so I can't do it. There's no excuse for you, because if it's raining, snowing, anything, you can do everything inside your house, right? And you can, and in fact, you don't even need a big, huge stadium to do anything like that, right?
Mhm.
So as long, although the distance may not be covered, why? Because these are good for track people, right? Because you have to cover the distance, right? For marathon racer, you have to distance certain miles because that's a different sports event. But if
Yes.
you are a normal human being or you're a normal person, and movement means movement, right? And you can do at home. And if you have a house, maybe, whatever house, you can do certain circles about your house too, right? Inside the house, and you know that you will have, and you can check your pulses. As long as your pulse and heart rates are matched, right? Based on how much exercise you did, how much movement you've done, definitely you will feel so excited about it that you don't have to worry about anything else. So you can
And
get in the morning, start working on it, and then you have no excuse for that, right? That's
so
what I do.
basically, the plan is to incorporate physical activity in one way or the other, as
Yes.
per our lifestyle. And the discussion today, as walking is the easiest and low cost, like going around the area or in the park, and incorporate that physical activity in our lifestyle.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
perfect. Like lot of good information as always, Pratibha. We would definitely, hopefully we are able to give lot of motivation to our viewers to start walking, start incorporating a physical activity in their lifestyle, and gain a healthy lifestyle.
And my final thought, Ria, is that, what does it do biochemically or physiologically? Walking on a very controlled mind can also develop good neurochemicals in your body as well. Also, people who are diabetics, they can also benefit out of that. Losing weight, you can lose weight, on a very normal, more like calculated way rather than rushed. And people who have heart conditions, they can also develop their heart conditions in a way of oxygen to the body. And also for example, people who are cancer patient as well, making that effort to do a little walking can also rejuvenate their cellular structure in the body, because you are getting more oxygen in your body. And oxygen, as you know, essential for your body, for brain, body, and minds. So your mind will be more clear and more cleaner. And again, and we would love to have our audience to tell us about, Ria, that what they did, how much exercise they did, or how much walking they did, and they can send it to you. And then we would love to have their answers from our audience of Maya TV International. We would love to have your answers, what exactly you did, and those other people can also benefit. Thank you, Ria, for inviting me for Maya TV International. Until then, next episode, we will definitely see you again. Thank you.
We would love to see you guys again next episode with new good information. Thanks, Pratibha. It was again so nice to meet you today.